My name is Lieutenant Hernandez. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 16 years. I'm currently assigned to Lower Buckeye Jail as a Shift 1 commander. I'm also a juvenile commander, certified PREA auditor, certified sexual assault investigator, certified victim advocate. Currently, the Sheriff's Office uses the PREA, which stands for the Prison Rape Elimination Act. It's a screening that takes place in intake with classification, and that screening helps identify victims also that can be vulnerable, whether they're victims of sexual assault or victims of sex trafficking. Some of the signs we look for are inmates that come in and don't have any canteen or money to purchase canteen, then all of a sudden they have a large amount. If you have someone that's always by themselves and all of a sudden has a lot of friends or a lot of inmates interested in them, or they're on the phone with people that they don't know, or even people that they don't know are writing them and asking them personal questions. And all of a sudden they're interested in things like how much their bond is and things like that. The Sheriff's Office is doing quite a bit. Right now, if we identify a victim, we go and interview them. It's either going to be Lieutenant Smith or myself. And we conduct a one-on-one interview with the individual. And they tell us whether they want to report or not. If they choose to report, we put them into contact with the Phoenix Heat Unit. If they just want to talk about it, then we put them in contact with the people that can help them, like mental health, or if they need outside resources, we also help them with that. We became certified victim advocates just for that purpose, so we know how to talk to the victims, because it is challenging, because we are in uniform when we go talk to them, so we have to break that barrier to get that trust in there. There's often times where I have to go and talk to them more than one time before I actually start asking the questions or they feel comfortable enough to disclose. We're also doing a training for staff where we brought in the ASU instructors along with the detectives, and they came in and talked about things to look for, such as the tattoos, the language that they use, and things like that. The detective explained the process of prosecution. So we're trying to do as much as we can. It is a topic we're still learning about, but every day we learn something new. Be careful what you put on social media. That's like one of the biggest things. According to our training, that's where they lure the victims in. They look for children that are having problems at home, and if they post things like that on there, that's how they lure them in. When they're out in the malls too with their friends, if they overhear conversations, they'll step in and try to befriend them first, because the predators do become their friends first, and there's somebody that they think that they can trust, and then they start disclosing information to them that they later on use against them. We started working with the trafficking victims probably back in March of last year. And then we've also been attending trainings ourselves so we can be educated as much as we can. One of the trainings that we've received, just conference back in October, where we were all actually taught by the survivors. So that was a pretty interesting class where they're former victims themselves and they taught the class. We also bring in Sex Trafficking 101, where it's just, again, basic language, tattoos that they can look for, symptoms, and what to do when they identify a victim, or if a victim discloses to them. We did child sex trafficking behind bars, and that was more for the deputies out in the street. And they talked about how they do the cases and what they need to actually prosecute. When we identify a victim, we provide a mental health services right away, what we have in-house. And then there's also resources that they have once they get released. We try to put them into contact with a victim advocate with the Phoenix Heat Unit, so they can help them with things like housing and to continue the counseling and things like that. We've identified several victims and we talked to them. We've given them the resources they needed along with mental health, and we put them into contact with the Phoenix Heat Unit if they wish to report. It's been a total success, if you ask me.